Tulsi Gabbard is the Director of National Intelligence, which means that she oversees all of the intelligence agencies within the United States government. This position was established after 9/11 to help increase the coordination between various intelligence agencies, which all have their own specialties and in some cases fall under different governmental departments. Last month, Tulsi Gabbard attended an Amazon Web Services conference, and she talked about how she had used AI to help her determine what to redact and what not to redact from the JFK files. There was a lot of reaction to this and a lot of people talking about how they thought this was a breach or showed lack of security in use of AI applications. And a lot of this showed that people, one, didn't really understand how classified information works and that they also don't really understand AI applications. My name is Wesley Bellman, and I'm a cybersecurity consultant. I'm also a cyberspace operations officer in the Air National Guard. In the past, I have served as a command assistant security manager, as well as a information system security manager, which means that not only have I dealt with classified information and how to do what's called derivative classification, which is taking a document that exists and based on a security classification guide, determining what is supposed to be classified and what is not, and making those classification determinations based on guidance provided by an original classification authority. In addition to doing that, I have also helped authorize systems for classified data processing, which means I've gone through the process of approving a information technology system which can process classified information. Based on this experience, I'm going to be talking in this video about what it means for an AI application to process classified information, if there's any scenario in which this actually is approved with the current use of classified data, and what some people may be misunderstanding about what she said about using AI. I hope you enjoy the video. The application a lot of people think of when they think of AI is ChatGPT. This is the application that introduced a lot of people to AI, and especially with large language models and chatbots. And even if you don't think of ChatGPT in particular when you think of AI, you probably think of some kind of similar application such as Gemini from Google. And a lot of these applications we just access through a browser, through something that's called software as a service. And so we just think, okay, we have this software as a service app. We just go into an application in our browser and we just talk to it. And we're just putting the data in there, trusting that OpenAI or Google will treat our data, will respect our data privacy and not send it where it's supposed to. However, if you actually look under the hood of these applications, you'll know that at some point there's actually this data is being processed on some kind of a server, whether that's owned by that company, OpenAI or Google, or whether they're using some kind of cloud service. In the case of Google, they're probably using their own cloud, Google cloud platform. But in the case of OpenAI, I actually don't know where they store the data on the back end, if that's their own cloud that they use, or if they use AWS or some kind of mix. But there is some kind of server where these applications are actually running the data. And you can actually build an AI application just like ChatGPT. You can take the same application and you can build it on your own private infrastructure. And this is what the government does. The government has tons of resources. They have a lot more money to build out these types of applications on their own infrastructure or using specific cloud environments that private companies build for them that are completely compliant with all of the classified storage and processing requirements for IT systems. And so the government has additional resources to be able to do this. And this is one reason actually why government IT is so expensive. So even beyond AI applications, if you just think about information technology in general, the government has to build a lot of these systems and they're completely air-gapped, which means that they don't have a direct connection to the internet. And they have to build these systems where they manually move over software and infrastructure and updates and content updates, etc., from unclassified systems over to these classified systems, and they stay there in an isolated way so that there aren't direct connections to the internet. And data has been processed on these types of systems for a long time, classified data, and classified data runs through all different types of applications, whether that's database applications, whether that's advanced analytics applications, and tons of classified data is processed on these types of systems, on these highly secure, highly isolated systems. And you can deploy AI applications. Of course, they have to be approved for security reasons, but if the AI application has been vetted, just like any other application, and it's deployable on one's own infrastructure, which really any application is, unless it requires some kind of cloud connection, then you can deploy those on a private government system that's sometimes going to be classified, and it can be classified at all levels. And so, for example, I don't know what classification level the JFK files that Tulsi Gabbard was using AI applications to redact is, so I don't know whether those files are secret, top secret, some kind of compartment, but I do know that whatever they were, there's some kind of data storage and data processing classification level for that end system. And so on that system, you would be able to deploy whatever type of application. And in the past, again, it's been things like databases, it's been analytics and processing. But now with large language models, it's really just another application that would exist on this same infrastructure. So really, there's no kind of breach or violation of classified information that would occur by processing the data on a AI application, as long as that AI application, one, was approved to run within that environment, and two, is running on an approved IT environment for the classification level of that data. So, for example, if you have top secret data, you just need a top secret system. You need to get that AI application approved to run on that top secret system, and then you can process top secret data through that AI application. So, does that mean that there are no concerns when it comes to processing classified data for redaction on with an AI system, with a large language model or other AI system? And I would say there still are some concerns. It's not that just because it's on an approved system that we shouldn't be concerned about this at all. I think the bigger concern really is that we might be trusting some of the AI processing a little too much. And this is just something that we need to think about as we're using these large language models for really anything. Is, does the level of output that it produces, is it good enough and is it consistent enough that we can trust it with its conclusions? So what I mean by that in this particular example is, if we say that, okay, we're going to allow this large language model to read the security classification guide, which says which things are classified and which things are not, and then based on that, decide what to redact from the JFK files and what not to redact, then do we trust that system enough to be able to trust its output and release it, especially if we're not using additional human manpower or human processing after the AI processing to determine if those redactions were correct? And really, that's going to be true of anything that you do with an AI application or with a large language model, is you're going to have to think about whether or not the results that are being output can be trusted, and at what point are we willing to trust that those results are much more likely to be better than human results, and so we can just output things from AI applications and just trust their results. I don't really have that answer. I don't think that most AI applications are quite there yet, but I could see them getting there. AI is, especially large language models and all these chatbots. I mean, you've seen, if you use them, you've seen that they get better and better every day. So I think at some point we may be to the point where some kind of large language model application could be better at determining what's classified and what's not classified than a human. And I've done a lot of those determinations myself, so I can tell you that it is definitely boring work, and it can be very, very tedious, and it might be something that at some point a computer is better at doing. For the time being, it might be better to allow an AI application to do the initial processing, and then afterwards still have a human look at it, double check what the AI application came up with, and especially look at the parts that the AI application did not decide to redact. So then at least if there is an error, it'll be on over redaction rather than under redaction, potentially leaking sensitive classified information. That's at least my thought on how that could work so that we can use both AI and humans. It is also important to note that some of these applications could be a lot better than just simple ChatGPT. What do I mean by that? If you're not familiar with specific types of AI applications, then there are applications that are really, really good at one thing. They're not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is good at talking and it can do several different things, but you can also train an AI model to be really good at one particular task. One simple example is chess. The best AI application for playing chess is something called Stockfish. Stockfish is an AI application which is specifically trained to just be able to play chess. So it's really, really good at chess. It's going to be a lot better than ChatGPT at chess. And similarly, with declassifying information and determining what should be classified and what shouldn't be classified, it's not just going to be putting that information through a ChatGPT and having it determine it. It could be training an AI model to be really, really good at that, to understand all of the security classification guides, which determine what's classified, what's not classified, what's classified at different levels, learning that really, really well, learning that process really, really well, and then be getting really, really good at determining what in a document should be classified, and if someone wanted to release a document, what needs to be redacted before that can be released. So there could be an AI application that's built specifically for that, and it would just be really, really good at that, in the same way that Stockfish is really, really good at chess. So it wouldn't be kind of a general AI application like ChatGPT that kind of does a lot of different things, and it can play chess if you want to play chess against ChatGPT, but it's not going to be nearly as good as Stockfish, for example. So that's my take on the whole Tulsi Gabbard event with the use of AI. I think she probably used an AI application on a classified system, which is completely normal, and that's completely within bounds of processing of classified information. However, I do think that we need to be careful about over-trusting AI applications, but I do think that AI applications that are specifically built for particular outcomes, such as classifying data or determining what from data can be classified and be unclassified, or be redacted and not redacted, is something that we can train AI to be really, really good at. And then potentially at some point it could be better than humans, and it could be something that we could definitely leverage to increase the productivity of functions in the US government, such as information protection. Let me know in the comments if you disagree with anything that I've said, if you'd like to see more videos like this. I know it's a little bit less of a technical video and just more me talking, but if you'd like to see more videos like this, let me know. If there's any other topics that you think you'd like to hear me talk about based on my background, please put that in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.